Assalamualaikum. So for today's video, I will be presenting about the adoption of technology in human resource practice. My name is Nur Nadira binti Muhammad Nazri and I'm from JBA 1145C. What is training? Training is an attempt by organization to change its employee through the learning process so they could able to perform job as efficient as possible. So training is an induction that has been held by the organization to perform its responsibility in introducing or enhancing the new workers on the organization goals and their job scopes. So in training, we have AS model, which is A representing as change attitudes, and S for developing skills, and lastly K for increasing knowledge. VR is a technology that stimulates the real life experience by using a device. Virtual reality and employment training helps to intensify the quality of training process for workers by implementing learning by doing methods at the early stage of employment. So what is learning by doing methods? So learning by doing methods is new workers will use the VR in experiencing the real life problems that might or could happen while conducting their own job scopes in the future. Learning by doing process is very helpful for the workers to understand their own job at the early stage. These are the example of virtualized training for construction workers, pilot and also flight attendants. According to the slide, there are 4 advantages in conducting VR in training. So number 1 is help to build everlasting memory. VR help workers to exceed common nature of human being in the process of memorizing. We all know that we have a short-term memory, and it is proven that most people prefer to learn or memorize job procedures or tips by experience rather than forcing to read the whole textbook without understand any of them. And the next one is VR shorten the period of training. Yes. Workers able to develop skill normally from 6 to 2 years in becoming eligible workers in the workforce. This advantage actually helps the organization to reduce the time taken for employee to work into the workforce, especially when they are in urgent. They need to fulfill the seat as soon as possible. For the third advantage is VR help to lessen unnecessary accident while learning. It is because it will avoid from fatal as workers are still new and traditional training need to be monitored by supervisor. So especially workers that need to work at the construction area or plantation, they were exposed into numerous risks. By using the VR as a training method, it will reduce the exposure into risk while learning. And the fourth advantage of using VR as a training method is reducing the cost of training process, such as cost of labor intensive for supervising the training and expenses such as insurance. So this is a cost when you use a traditional training methods. Therefore, we could conclude that by using the VR or virtual reality instead of using the traditional method as our training could cut a few of the expenses. Apart from the advantages, there are three disadvantages that has been listed, which is number one is lack of flexibility. The workers are not able to ask questions or give suggestion compared to the traditional training. It is because the devices that has been used are systemized and it cannot be redone according to the current suggestion that has been made by new employees. The lack of supervisors are one of the major weak by implementing VR in training methods. The second disadvantages is artificiality. By working experience using VR or virtual reality and in real life are not entirely accurate. This is because when you use the virtual reality as your working experience, comparing to the real life experience, the problems are not that similar and adjustment need to be taken to curb the problem that occur when working in the workforce. The last disadvantages of using VR in training method is health risk, which is excessive exposure to technology might cause a health problem such as eye strain and anxiety. So this problem is a common health problem that happens now because more people are exposed to technologies rather than going out for experience a real life situation. So for the last part is my personal opinion regarding to the VR in the human resource management, which is the cost of possessing VR in daily operation is undeniably expensive. However, considering a future purpose, the expenses for monthly operation costs such as physical classes, instructor, and insurer will be reduced. Moreover, the forthcoming price for VR will cost much cheaper in future. Therefore, due to the extensive demand in the consumer will attract more supplier to provide most identical product to the market. Hence, a modestly price will be offered in the market to gain competitive advantages. So this scenario happens now, which is most of the phone devices in the market are quite identical. So a few years back, these devices are quite expensive, so compared to the nowadays market. So when it comes to the price of devices, especially for technology devices, it will eventually reduce as more competitive coming into the market. So they will break to the common price or the actual price that has now and offer a better price in the future to gain a competitive advantage. So that's all for me and I hope you enjoy the video. Thank you very much for watching.